on the Vince Everett Ellison Show. We're going to talk about the NAACP and what happened to that historical black organization, how they turned into the lapdogs of the left that they are now. We're going to talk about today on the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, let's get this thing started. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Just in case you didn't know, that is what the NAACP stands for. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Not people of color, colored people. That in itself to let you know just how antiquated this organization is. Used to be the most prominent civil rights organization in the world. Everybody know what it was. I remember when I was a little boy, my father bought me an NAACP membership card. Put it in my little wallet, walked around with it proudly. Part of the struggle, man. Civil rights, equality, all that stuff. You got to keep NAACP rolling. Let me tell y'all something. The NAACP right now is a lackey and a lapdog for the Democrat Party and the political left. These jokers are no good and they don't care anything about black people. I think I made that pretty plain, didn't I? Just in case you didn't hear me, let me say it again. The NAACP is no good. It is a liberal organization that cares nothing about black people. It is now a lackey for the left and an integral part of the Democrat Party. A party of perverts, liars, psychopaths, anti-Christian bigots, thugs, hoes, and rappers. That's the NAACP. Now, how has it fallen so far? Well, it's been around for a long time. Them jokers been around, I think, like since 1909. And, and at first they were doing some good work. They really, really were. A lot of folks got mad at me last week because I called some African-American women fairly unattractive. And people saying to me, yeah, Vince now, and most people were nice. Vince, we kind of enjoy your content. And this is, this is beyond you. You're better than that. You shouldn't have to talk about how people look. I understand that. But, and I'm getting to a point with NAACP here, but I think you guys probably missed a part of my podcast last week that explained why I was talking about these women and why their unattractiveness was having a visceral effect on me. It wasn't just because, they were just fairly unattractive women. Is that I knew the reason behind why these women were on television. I wouldn't know these women existed if they were just on the street. Matter of fact, I wouldn't care. But see, I know the history of the Democrat Party. I know how these Democrat white folks think. I know them. I lived around them my whole life. And I used to see them make fun of black people. They'd find the most unattractive one and the most uncouth ones that they could find, and they'd parade them to make the world believe that that's who we were. Yeah. They would put Step and Fetch It. Y'all know Step and Fetch It.
Yeah, it's fine, bro. Nothing, Judge, but I wasn't there. Them chickens showing up. Just fishing.
Y'all need to look him up. Just Google Step and Fetch It. Step and Fetch It was a shiftless, slack-jawed, lazy black person that Hollywood would put on TV and as a caricature for all black people. They would put black people in blackface and make them walk around looking like jigaboos. Y'all know the story, man. Quite like y'all know what I'm talking about. You know, they've taken movies like Disney Song of the South and all this kind of stuff, and they would use black people as caricatures. Yeah, mammy. They made them take the Aunt Your Mama face off of the box. And they made them take the guy off the cream of wheat box because they said that they had negative depictions of black people. So now I look on TV, and I'm supposed to see this and not call it out? So I said that having Joy Reid and Maxine Waters and Stacey Abrams and Robin Roberts and all these black women, you know, I'm saying that these are negative depictions of black people. Just like when they used to have them tap dancing, eating watermelon, and say, yes, boss, yes, boss, yes, massa, yes, massa. Just as negative. People see this all over the world. You know how I know? Let me tell y'all something. Last year, I flew from Florida to California, from Buffalo, New York to Utah. I went all over the country. And you know what? I saw a lot of the local news. You get up in the morning time, the people got their local news on. You watch it. And I'm seeing all of these beautiful people all over the country. Y'all probably see them in your areas. Just as pretty, just as nice. I mean, black and white. Very good at what they do. They don't use them. You know why? Because they want, these people on the left want to give a negative depiction of black people all over the world and a negative depiction of black people to themselves. So we act a certain way. That's why they keep all them hip-hop jokers. Snoop Dogg selling more stuff on TV than Morgan Freeman. Smoking blunts, he a thug. Had Flavor Flav and Snoop at the Olympics, representing black folks in America. LeBron James kneeling, talking about how much he despised America, but they had him on the Olympic team. See, I'm talking about that kind of ignorant stuff right there. Yeah. So that's why I brought up those unattractive black women in my podcast last week. It wasn't just to say that they were unattractive. I'm saying there's a rhyme and a reason behind what the Democratic Party does. And they are using these people. They're going to take the money. They're going to take the money. You're going to tell me they can find nobody better than Michael Strahan to put on TV? I'm not going to take the money. And I don't dislike Michael Strahan. I really don't. He's a great athlete, Super Bowl ring. But Michael Strahan got a speech impediment. Hell, he'll tell you that. Come on, man. Anyway, I just get tired of seeing it. But guess what? The NAACP used to call that stuff out. Early on in their career, that's what they used to do. They were like the Anti-Defamation League when it came to Jewish people. The Anti-Defamation League will not allow negative depictions of Jewish people to be put in the press because they know that life imitates art. That if art is saying these bad things about Jews, sooner or later you're going to get another Holocaust. And the same thing about black folks. If art is saying these things about black people, life is going to imitate it. And that's why when you see white people scared of black men, well, hell, where you think it came from? Because you guys got a bunch of thug rappers, a bunch of hoes on TV all the time representing the black community. Kamala Harris is just surrounded by them. Like I said, it look like the Vibe Awards and the Source Awards. Just put on your gang colors. I was waiting for a fist fight to start, to just start any minute. Guns and stuff. Barack Obama had him at the Oval Office. I'm sure everybody up there had a bulletproof vest on. So back to the NAACP, but that's what they used to do. That's what they used to do. And then after the Civil Rights Movement, the liberals and the communists that took over the Democratic Party told them, no, we got to keep these black people where they are because the only way you can have communism and Marxism is that you got to have a whole lot of poverty. See, people that are happy in their lives, people that are in the middle class, they don't riot. And they don't cause revolution. Revolution always comes from poor folks and they ain't got nothing. So the more poor people Democrats can make, the more apt they are to have a revolution and riots in the street. You ponder that for a little while, okay? Middle class and rich people don't riot. Usually you have a lot of educated people that come down and they stir up the poor, and then the poor are the ones that start the revolution and take over the country. That's what happened in Russia when they ran the Tsar out. That is what happened in China when Mao went and stirred up the peasants. That's what happened in Vietnam when Ho Chi Minh went and stirred up the peasants. That's what happened in that's what happened in Korea when Kim Jong-un and the Un family did the same thing. Castro went into Cuba, did the same thing. Stirred up the peasants. Got them angry. Gave them some guns. They killed the people that the landowners took over. They try to do the same thing here in America. Americans had to be a little bit too rich. You didn't have enough angry people yet. They found a lot of them down in the black community, but it wasn't enough. So the Democratic Party's primary goal right now, and they have cast NAACP as part of this, is to try to keep black people as poor as possible so they can foment some type of revolution. But boy, they're having a hard time doing it because people just ain't hungry enough in America. It's hard to start a revolution when your belly's full. Hard to start a revolution when you're sitting in the air conditioning. It's hard to start a revolution when you can go to the doctor whenever the hell you want to. It's hard to pick up a gun when you just got through eating a big dinner, you got the itis, and you want to lay down and go to sleep. That's the problem the Democrat Party is having. But the NAACP is trying to help the Democrats keep black people poor and ignorant. But let me tell you how they started. It was interesting how they started. They started at a place they call it the Niagara Movement. I'm going to read to you what they say on the Nickelodeon, not Nickelodeon, what is it? Wikipedia page, Nickelodeon. Wikipedia page, Nickelodeon. It says the Pan American Exposition of 1901 in Buffalo, New York, featured many American innovations and achievements, but also included a disparaging caricature of slave life in the South, as well as a depiction of life in Africa called Old Plantation and Darkest Africa, respectively. A local African-American woman, her name was Mary Talbot of Ohio, was appalled by this exhibit. As a similar one in Paris highlighted black achievements, she informed W.B. Du Bois of the situation, and a coalition began to form. So they started out because they were in Buffalo, New York, in an exposition, and they saw that this exposition was doing what the Democratic Party and white liberals are doing right now. Show disparaging depictions of black people. Now, the NAACP Image Awards gives awards for disparaging depictions of black people. They gave one to Jay-Z. You can't get no more disparaging than that Negro. He's a pornographer. They gave one to Dwayne Wade and his wife because they allowed their child to become transgender. I'm sure if I look down further enough, they show gave one to P. Diddy. P. Diddy probably got about 15, 20 of them, all I know. I don't know for sure, but I can almost be pretty sure that P. Diddy got an NAACP Image Award. I'm sure they've given an NAACP Image Award to every derelict, to every thug, to every hoe out there in the music industry. But as you see, it started with a black woman at the exposition in Buffalo, noticing disparaging depictions of black people. And she called W.B. Du Bois. And they said, we got to put a stop to this. Well, they're not putting a stop to it anymore. NAACP decided the best thing to do for black folks was integrate them with the Ku Klux Klan down south. Why is that stupid? So you get Brown versus Board of Education. And Thurgood Marshall does this case. And it was about the schools being separate but not equal. They're supposed to be separate but equal. At the end of the day, the Supreme Court ruled that even though all of the schools down south had proven that they had become equalized, that's right. Brown versus Board of Education says that the schools had become equalized. If y'all don't believe me, read it for yourself. Read it in my book, The Iron Triangle. I'll talk about the whole thing. Get my book, The Iron Triangle. It shows, it proves that the schools had been equalized in 1956. And then the NAACP said, we want integration. And Dr. Kenneth Clark had proved that black people felt inferior to white folks. And Thurgood Marshall and them argued, and the NAACP argued, that the reason why we felt inferior was because we was being separated from white folks. Now, if that was the fact, why didn't white folks feel inferior to us? Because they were separated from us too. No, the reason we felt inferior was because our black preachers, our black politicians, and our black civil rights workers and our parents told us we were inferior. Oh, black people felt inferior. Hell, they still do. Especially if you're a black Democrat who says openly every day, I feel inferior. I ain't free. I need reparation. I need DEI. And as I said before, to every black person that says that they support and need DEI, I agree with you. Your ignorant black behind need a government program to help you. I don't need it. I don't need it. Now, you say you need it. I believe that you are inferior to white people and you need a government program to help you compete with white folks in America. You ignorant savage, you need the help of government. You need to get them to help you rig the game because you cannot compete. You've admitted to that. I believe it. You say you're not free. I agree with you. You are a slave. I'm not. I am a free man. I function in my freedom. I have declared my freedom just like the founding fathers did. Government then set me free. God set me free, and I've declared it. So you say you're a slave? I believe you. You're not free. When you say you believe in white supremacy, I agree with you. White folks are superior to your ignorant behind. You dadgum right. You right. Any man that'll sit there and say that he believes in white supremacy, I agree with you. You believe that white folks are superior to you, you po ignorant savage. And that he has to give up some of his supremacy so you can catch up with him. That's not going to happen. They'll tell you that they will, but they're not, and they shouldn't. That's the NAACP. A bunch of begging, ignorant, they still call themselves colored. You call me colored, I'll fight you. The NAACP called themselves the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. And that's so ignorant, man, because first, when black people were slaves, they were called Negroes. You would see little placards put up when they were selling black people Negroes for sale. They called them Negroes. During Jim Crow era, they just called them the N-word. They took Negro and called it, we can't say this on YouTube or online. They've censored that word. Psh, you can say anything else, but you can't say that word. So we have to say N-word, even though we know what it means. So they went from Negro to N-word, and then they went to colored. So Negro, N-word, colored. And then Dr. King started using the word Negro again. And then after that, we started using the word black, as in black power. Black power. Well, then the NAACP and Jesse Jackson them started saying we need to start using, even though the NAACP still called themselves colored, them Jesse Jackson and all the rest of them said we need to start using the term African American. Well, sooner or later, black folks got smart and found out, well, hell, you got a bunch of Africans coming over here. Actually, you got a bunch of white Africans coming over here. People from South Africa and from Zimbabwe. Yeah, a lot of people that were born in Africa, parents had been in Africa 200-300 years. They migrate to America. They white. They're African Americans. So you have genuine Africans with the African names, and you have the white Africans. And we started saying, well, y'all, we getting confused with these people. So we said, we're going to start calling ourselves black again. So then we started getting hooked up with the people from the Caribbean, who was also descendants of slaves. And we said, foiled again. So now they got this new phrase. I don't know if y'all have heard it. It's called FBAs. It's called Foundational Black Americans. Maybe that'll seal the deal finally. You know, instead of us just calling ourselves Americans like I do, say the hell with all that. I'm an American. So the NAACP is in a quandary because they still call themselves colored. But at the end of the day, the NAACP, y'all, they are a bunch of elitist, communist Marxists who are against school choice, knowing that even up in Baltimore where they are headquartered, that Baltimore spends over $20,000 a child. And the majority of the children, the vast majority of the children up there are not fluent in math, reading, or science. They know it. They don't care. That's what they want. Their goal is to keep black people poor. Now they've jumped, and they've succeeded pretty good at that, so now they've decided to franchise out what they do. Now this is what they do, y'all. The NAACP is now part of the Rainbow Mafia. Their primary job now is to also go and help the LGBTQ community. So also they're part of the Democratic Party. They for abortion up to the 9th month. Yeah, NAACP supports that. They're against school choice. They're for open borders. They're probably involved in the climate change thing also. They want to bring all these illegals over here. What kind of sense that make? Black people been fighting in this country for 400 years to try to get their part of it. Been discriminated against, having a hard time making it, and you're going to bring in 30 million illegals and put them into the black community and put them into black schools and put them in a position where they, as Trump said, where they're competing for black jobs. But the NAACP got to do what the massa and you know what? Here's the thing: they still keep their, from what I heard. Well, I don't know this to be true, but this is what I heard. Malcolm X talked about it a lot. They keep the people that contribute to them secret. That's what Malcolm X said. I haven't seen anything that's different from that. If that's true, I will be corrected. But they still want to keep it separate because they know that most of their money comes from white liberals. The NAACP was set up by mostly white people. Let's see, the NAACP was founded February 12th, 1909 by a larger group including some African Americans, one African American, W.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, Archibald Grimke, and Mary Church Terrell. And probably in the previous name whites, there were the whites were Harry Moskowitz, Mary White Ovington, William English Walling, Florence Kelly, Oswald Garrison Villard, Charles Edward Russell. So it was more white people that started NAACP than it was black. And they were really interested in making sure that they could control the black community. And they do. They do. Done a very good job of it. But you know what, though? The people are breaking away. They know that this is not the same NAACP that started, 120 years ago, because this very intelligent black woman was in Buffalo, New York, and saw that they had disparaging depictions of black people in Africa. And she said, we should have this corrected. We should not allow these people to depict us in the media and in arts in this way. and the NAACP came about, and they really stopped a lot of it. For the first, I remember they picketed Gone with the Wind when it debuted in Atlanta, Georgia, back in the 1930s. They were upset because of the depictions of the slaves as being happy, of how Mammy, the house slave, and Hoke and the rest of them were acting toward the white folks. That there was no depiction of black people in Gone with the Wind ever being upset by being slaves or ever being resistant to slavery. So the NAACP posed a protest, saying this is not true. This wasn't balanced, which was correct. Some black people enjoyed being enslaved, other black people did not. That's just a fact. So the NAACP picketed. I've said that it's not the job of the church, or it's not in the purview of the church to picket and boycott. That's the job of organizations like the NAACP. I agree. So when we see pastors out there, protesting and picketing and boycotting, no. If you want to do that, join the NAACP, join the SELC, join CORE, join join Black Lives Matter. That's what they do. The church's job and the job of the preacher is to make sure that they get disciples for Christ and then get you prepared to live for the rest of your life or the rest of eternity in the presence of Jesus Christ. That's it. Disciples for Christ, and then make sure that that get you prepared to live for eternity in the presence of Jesus Christ. You shouldn't have any time to be out there picketing Target or Costco or McDonald's. That's the greatest calling you could ever have, to bring a person to Christ. Well, not these guys. They want to be on television. They want to be leading a march. They want to be around and hobnobbing with no good, sorry politicians. You know why? Because they ain't called. They're liars. They're hypocrites and they're apostates. Almost every NAACP chapter got a black pastor that's ahead of it. Pastor John Smith, pastor so-and-so Baptist Church, and he's also the president of the NAACP chapter here in the community. And he's standing up there. If he was doing his job as pastor, he wouldn't have time to be the president of the NAACP. The condition that the black community is in, that's the equivalent of your house burning down, and you say, I'm going to go to the club, I'm going to go to the strip club and dance a little bit tonight. They say, man, I see your house is on fire. Strip club calling me, man. Strip club calling me. That's black pastors now. Black community's on fire. Jokers dying, fighting. We beyond our rate of replacement, aborting our babies. Schools are no that gum good. Hey, but you got a time to lead a protest against Target. Beam me up, Scotty. House just burning up. Everybody see the house burning up. Everybody trying to put the fire out, and you get in the car and say, yeah, man, I'm going to go to the club. That's the black preacher. Black community on fire. Yeah, I got to go lead this boycott against Target, man. I'll see y'all when I get back. And the NAACP is right with it, because all of these black preachers, I can guarantee you, these jokers belong to the NAACP. Proudly been a member for the last 70 years of his life. So the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, I guess that is the proper name for it, because you know what? There are no colored people. So you're not advancing anyone. And you haven't. This is so sad. You know, we need to have a funeral for the NAACP. Just put them out their misery. They're just a gay rights organization right now. That's all they are. They don't do anything for black people. They do more for LGBTQ and abortion than they do for anything else. Now, if black people want to kill their babies and want a sex change operation, they all involved in that. If a black person want to pull their child out of failing school, oh, not the NAACP. They have fought against school choice. Yeah, want to keep people locked in them failing schools. You know why? Because teachers' unions give them money. That's it. The teachers' unions give hundreds of millions of dollars a year out campaign contributions and organizations. They give the NAACP money. And for that, they keep black children locked in those failing schools. They fight against any school choice. That's them. I'm sure Planned Parenthood gives them money. So they make sure there are abortion clinics in the black community. That's them. Yeah. To black America, with all America, especially to black America, y'all have been sold out. The NAACP, again, just like the Democratic Party, are a cabal of perverts, liars, psychopaths, anti-Christian bigots, thugs, hoes, and rappers. It is time for us to cut them loose. I've said it. I looked in the camera and I've said it. And ain't one of them suckers want to come and front me on it. You know where I am. You know why? Because I'm here to wake you up. Hope it did you some good today. So come join me again tomorrow for another edition of the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, friends, Vince Everett Ellison is here. I want you to go to my website. And on my website, you're going to see a lot of great stuff, man. You're going to see that we got T-shirts, we got caps, you got my books, my documentaries, you got all kinds of stuff on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Go there. We're dropping new T-shirts. We're dropping new merchandise. My new book, The End of Tolerance, is there. The End of Tolerance. Make sure you get it. Make it #1. If you got my first 3, get The End of Tolerance. It's just as good. And it's telling us we have to end our tolerance with these leftists, these Democrats. We can no longer allow them to sexually groom our children. We can no longer allow them to castrate little boys and call them little girls, run God out of the public square, take away our guns, take away our sovereignty. No longer allow it. So go on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. That is VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Hit merchandise. You'll see the T-shirts. You'll see the caps. You'll see the books. You'll see the documentaries. You'll see it all. And let's keep this ball rolling. God bless you.